Hello again, blokes, and welcome to this week's Game of the Week. We are jumping into Victorian-era London for another installment of the Ubisoft powerhouse franchise that is Assassin's Creed, with this latest game, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which we reviewed on the PlayStation 4. This one takes place towards the end of the 19th century in the heart of the British Empire, at a time when technology was driving our species forward at a rate that it had not previously encountered. This is a particularly interesting period of time for the Assassin's Creed franchise to visit, as it was one of the more volatile periods of change in history, especially within the city of London. Ubisoft have done a pretty good job of realising the city in its industrial heyday. From the various vantage points around the city, you can see the chimneys billowing out the smoke and experience the cobbled streets and dark, smoky London nights as you make your way between the game's various locations. You have an option of two main characters this time around, with the introduction of the Fry twins, Jacob and Evie. They form the core of the narrative experience, with the story setup being that the long-running enemy of the Assassin Order, the Templars, have had a stranglehold on London and by extension the British Empire for the last 100 years. On the streets, this chokehold comes in the form of the Blighters, a vicious gang that extorts, murders, and generally runs around doing whatever their Templar overseers demand of them. Jacob sees an opportunity to start up his own assassin-led gang in the Rooks, starting a series of territory-grabbing missions to take back the streets of London for the Assassin Order. Evie, on the other hand, is more interested in understanding what the Templars have been doing with the Pieces of Eden and other precursor artifacts that the Templars have slowly been moving into the city and attempting to exploit through mankind's enhanced knowledge of electricity and machinery in the industrial age. Along the way, you'll get to meet and interact with the usual cadre of historical figures, including Charles Dickens, Alexander Graham Bell, and a couple of others. They provide side missions and unique weapons and armour that cannot be unlocked through the normal crafting options. All in, Ubisoft has created a deep single-player experience, which, if you're into the Assassin's Creed franchise, the combination of the interplay between the two main characters, the setting, and the sheer volume of activities and unlocks that you can work your way through will undoubtedly provide you with many happy hours of gaming. However, and this is quite a however, I found myself put off of this game quite early on. Now there are a couple of reasons why. Firstly, I had some pretty immersion-destroying sound issues with this game. I did some research and discovered that I was not the only person to experience this. Turns out that the game will try and force surround sound, and if you're playing through headphones or another stereo output, this results in utterly botched audio. In the end, I had to force stereo audio on my PlayStation 4 by setting optical out as my primary audio source to correct this. But by then, I'd already been put off playing this game by basically being forced to read the subtitles for the first couple of hours to understand what was going on. This all happened after the Day 1 patch was released. I also found the controls to be a bit loose at times, resulting in me having to repeat missions on a number of occasions because my approach had been ruined by some obscure or otherwise unintended free-running move happening instead of me going where I actually wanted to. When I was dashing around the streets in a horse-drawn carriage, there was some pretty heavy texture pop in as well, as the game struggled to fill the scenes with detail as quickly as I was moving through them. Oh, then there was that time that a cutscene happened without actually having the main characters present. They were meant to be there, but I just don't know where they went. These experiences really broke the immersion of this game for me, and that is a huge shame, because at its heart, this could be one of the better Assassin's Creed games from a story and interplay perspective. But when I have to put time into fixing sound issues, dealing with frame rate drops, buggy cutscenes, and slightly iffy character movement, it tends to put a bit of a damper on my enthusiasm to continue playing this game. Given the time of year that we are now entering in the run-up to Christmas, and the competition that this game faces, problems like this can cost a game dearly. If you are sitting on the fence about this game, my advice is to wait until you see it in the sale bin at your local game store. For me, this game has great potential, but it is let down by its execution. And for that, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Thanks for listening, blokes. This has been Dave. What's up everyone, Dave here. If you like our reviews or think we could improve them, don't forget to like, comment, favourite and subscribe to NZBlokes to get all the videos as they hit the big, bad interwebs.